Hey everyone, Jonathan here. Another video, but also to say thank you so much for all the sharing, the engagement, the comments, the commentary, all of it. I'm not shocked that there's been really nothing from government. That's status quo, as you can see, for what we're talking about. I am quite surprised there's been no engagement from like federal lobby groups or those larger producers or even people representing producers, because this is a clear issue. This is the biggest issue. The fact that not only the excise tax, but the high markups and the margins coming directly from producers and leaving them in a really tough spot, something I can speak to better than most, knowing it firsthand. But if we want to get the message out there even further, we need to put it into terms that everyone can understand, and why the big issue of, the provinces are getting excise tax on top of these huge multi-million, sometimes multiple hundred millions of net income a year, clearly in violation of these tax agreements if you were to read them. And if you saw the briefing I released earlier this week from the Department of Finance staff federally to their minister, even they believe that these are far beyond the profits that were supposed to be realized, and they said that they don't estimate that there are any licensed producers that are consistently profitable. So again, how can those returns be judged normal if no one else in the industry other than government is making those types of incomes and profits? But the way I like to think about it is about employment insurance. And if you have ever been on EI, which I have, you know that income is there to try and give you an income when you don't have access to another one. It's provided to you. And the whole goal is, of course, you want to make revenue somewhere else, but it might not be available at this time. So this is here to provide you with what you need so that you can survive. And that's what the excise tax was supposed to be, because another revenue stream was not supposed to be there for provinces. It said that in the coordinated tax agreements. That's the whole point of it. You're not going to be able to make a lot of money off this. That's not the objective. Don't mark it up high. Don't take high margins, because we can't do that. That's why the federal government said they're going to give the excise tax to the province. Originally, it was supposed to be a 50-50 split between the federal government and the provinces and territories, each getting 50% of the excise duties. But the provinces were so afraid of all these added costs that cannabis legalization was going to bring on, not real, that they wanted to get more excise tax. The difference is they got that extra excise tax, but they're also getting all the revenue that they're making through the sale with high markups, margins, far beyond covering their operating costs, capital expenses, and a normal rate of return. Could you imagine what would happen on the personal side if you were receiving EI and then you also were making a ton of money, like a six-figure salary, but still collecting the employment insurance benefits? Do you think the federal government would be okay with that?
Pursue the advance 2 days hence.
I don't think so. So why is it okay when a provincial or territorial government does it? Because they're receiving their excise tax, they sign an agreement saying we wouldn't make any more money, and if we do, we'll tell you. Guess what? Again, I'm calling on the federal government, hold the provinces and territories accountable for these agreements that you signed, that you know they're in violation because your own briefing said that. Unless you can't read your own briefing?
I've told you what it is we want you to do, and that's enough.
Please, Mr. Clarence, would you take a look at this?
You'll not bother me with that.
But you see, sir, your son read this today. It is quite a difficult passage. It is from the Bible. This is what I used to teach him to read.
Ah, Mr. Clarence, why don't you just read it then?
Both of you know I cannot read a word.